Facing the cameras as a child is a big thing, but using your influence as a popular actress to try with all of us to save the planet is just enormous. We are delighted to have Antoinette Taus, the UN Environment Program Goodwill Ambassador, to our show today. Welcome, Antoinette, to EU Talk, our way of engaging with young personalities in the Philippines.
Thank you so much for having me, Ambassador Luc. It's truly an honor, and I'm really grateful to be with you today. Thank you.
I heard and read that you were a child actor. How was your childhood? Where did you grow up, and what were your dreams?
I actually grew up right outside of Manila in Angeles City, so that's in the province of Pampanga. I'm actually Filipino-American, and I would say I'm honestly grateful to feel like I had a normal childhood. As much as entertainment is not exactly normal, I feel that my parents tried their very best to actually keep us away from anything that might veer us away from feeling like, we were normal children growing up in a country where we also felt like we belonged. And our education was actually also something that was a huge condition, being in entertainment, because it wasn't really their dreams for us. They actually were almost against it, really wanting us to focus on school and, of course, having a regular childhood. But we ourselves, after, I guess, experiencing performing and being able to do commercials, we wanted to keep doing it. So we pretty much begged our parents to stay in entertainment. And the condition really was, okay, you can stay as long as you stay in school and your grades are good and you still prioritize your education.
I understand that for a while you went to LA for about 10 years, is that correct?
Yes.
And you wanted to live fully the dream of the entertainment industry, correct?
Yes.
Was it the main reason why you went to LA?
Yes, it was actually the main first reason why we made the whole plan to move. It was quite difficult trying to, I guess, close and end things that were in a way thriving here in the Philippines, and a lot of people couldn't understand why I would do such a thing, to work so hard to reach a certain point and then suddenly say, oh, you know what, I think I'm ready to kind of maybe not move on but try something different, or really, I guess, take that leap of faith for something that we all dream for. And whatever it may be, for others, whatever career it is, whatever field it is, I feel like it's important that we do that. I always say, once again, like I really truly have no regrets, and I feel that every path we choose leads us to where we need to go next. My mother also got sick with cancer, and it just so happened that she ended up getting treated in the US as well. So it's almost like all these paths converged, leading to where I ended up today. And being there also became a huge journey of not healing at first, but also going through the challenges of her loss. I speak a lot today about my mental health journey, about depression and anxiety, and I feel like it's really important for all of us to be able to speak about it. When I went through it in 2004, the best way I can now, after over a decade of really doing my best and making an effort in healing, that journey led me to where we are today, where I am today, the nonprofit organization and everything else that I basically feel I truly would like to dedicate my life to. And I am actually quite sure about that. It's interesting because I never thought that I'd be so sure about anything in my life before, which I'm so sure that you're more than sure, and you've known that early on in the journey.
And what strikes me also is that you chose to return to the Philippines. And this is definitely something that I find very interesting and very promising also for the country. Let's talk maybe about the NGO that you founded, which is named after your mother.
Yes.
CORA. Can you say a little bit more about it?
Actually, it's a nonprofit organization that we established a few years ago in 2016, and it really wasn't supposed to be a nonprofit to begin with. And this was after I had returned to the Philippines from living in the U.S. And there's an organization that was actually established by friends of ours in LA. And it was just an inspirational movement that they began that spread to over 150 cities across the world that we decided to replicate here, not realizing that that one act of replicating something that someone else also had started would turn into something like the nonprofit organization that it is today, which is CORA. It is called Communities Organized for Resource Allocation, but it's actually named after my mother, whose name is Corazon, which actually means heart.
Yes.
Yes. And the truth is, she was my everything, my role model, my superwoman. I always told her that when I grow up, I want to be like you. She really was that person that I emulated. And not just me, but everyone around me. And she was so well loved, I would say, because of her capacity to give infinite love to everyone around her, for everything. And I wouldn't even say that at the time I would have called her an environmentalist. She was just about love and care. So whether it's people or the planet, I feel like it came naturally to her. And so that's how CORA really began. It became a volunteer-powered organization that came together on a regular basis, either to do feeding programs, to pack food together, or to do coastal cleanups, to plant trees. And today, after about 5 years, actually 6 years this year, we are already impacting communities in a way where we're working with local government units for waste management initiatives. We have a Woman Grove Warriors program, where it's a mangrove rehabilitation program led by women in coastal communities. And the youth is a huge part of everything that we do, because we firmly believe that the youth are there.
What came first? I suppose the CORA came first, and then the ambassadorship with UNEP, or what came first?
Yes, that's correct, Ambassador. I had already been working on CORA for a few years, and honestly, as I would say, passionate advocate, and they graciously invited me to become an ambassador for the United Nations Environment Program. And I really would like to say that it is one of the greatest honors of my entire life, and more than anything, a huge responsibility to really not just deserve to be in that position, but to really make a difference.
Where do you see your role evolving in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? Maybe building on what you already achieved, which is great. What is Antoinette's dream for the future?
I feel that my dreams have just been all about the dreams for the mission, and intertwined with, honestly, focused on the dreams for the organization, the nonprofit. And in reality, I am a person of deep faith. I really like to believe that I do love to plan. I love to be organized. I love to super plan ahead. I have visions and dreams and strategies, of course, but I still live deeply by faith. And to me, the goal really is, dear God, please help me live a long, healthy life, so that at the end of the day, we can keep the nonprofit growing and helping more and more people.
Yes, it seems that you use this metaphor that the social media should be the window for what we do in real life.
Yes.
But sometimes the window is the full house. There is nothing else than the window. And if you spend like 10 hours on social media per day, there is not much time left for other things.
Yes.
And this is what makes me wonder, in particular in the post-pandemic situation we are entering now, where we will return to more face-to-face and more in-person conversation. There might be a reluctance, because we got used to interacting on Zoom, but my assumption is that the kind of conversation we are having today would be very different on Zoom.
Yes, most definitely, Ambassador. Oh my gosh. I have to say, of course, it may be on Zoom, possibly, you would seem a bit more intimidating. I would be way more formal possibly, or maybe not, because I am kind of a child at heart. But meeting you in person definitely shows the warmth from you, and just how kind and wonderful you are. And not that it wouldn't translate on the screen, but it is that barrier. It's different being able to really see someone and greet them when they enter a room even. That is something that we miss so much, being able to just look each other in the eye, not just through a screen.
Right.
There is that part of the population that I feel is yearning for that human contact, and is wanting that and needs that so much. And I feel even our youth, and we of course always want to follow the protocols that are out there. But at the end of the day, what we're praying for is to be able to really build back in a better way, wherein life can really go back to normal, or to even just be better in a sense. And we feel that, you know, everyone is doing their best to get us there. We thank you, of course, for all the amazing work that you were doing together with the European Union, and of course the support that you were giving to the Philippines in helping our growth and helping in a green recovery. And that really truly means so much. And CORA has been collaborating with the European Union for a few years now, and honestly, what you do matters so much to us, and thank you for that, Ambassador.
And we are very proud to be able to cooperate and partner with you as well.
Yes.
Of course, internet is not an environmental neutral, but sitting in traffic in our cars, or even worse, taking an airplane to go to a conference abroad,
yes,
is definitely a carbon footprint that we could avoid if we would do. So I was asking the question, what is the right balance for you? There is probably the right balance to find between engaging locally with our communities,
yes,
and also refraining from traveling too much or sitting too much in cars to go to places.
yes.
So this is the right balance to find, probably.
Yes, Ambassador. Oh my goodness, Ambassador, you gave me a very controversial question that I feel a lot of people do talk about that when it comes to our international conferences and conversations and discussions, especially when it is conferences pertaining to the environment. And not just that, actually, when we look at even nonprofit work, even that requires us to visit communities, to get supplies to communities, to be able to take the necessary steps to reach places that cannot be reached. And when we really think of these issues or these situations, I feel that it still always just goes back once again to the basics. It really is, we do what is necessary, but we never do what is in excess or what is not needed. And I feel that really, when we look at everything from plastic pollution to carbon footprints to even the nature of single use and convenience, it really is because there came that time wherein I guess we mistakenly thought as human beings that there is just so much in the world that it's never going to run out, or the world is so big we could never make an impact or destroy it. And I feel like that was the mistake that we made, which is why a lot of things were built or have been embedded today, wherein the single-use mentality or waste in itself. And we always say, you know, when you speak of circular economy, waste isn't waste until you waste it. And so now we see that there are solutions that are being brought forth. And of course, that always begins with personal choice, first and foremost. The solutions that we can execute on a daily basis within our lifestyle, and of course within our financial parameters. And that is why we look now towards the solutions that are bringing these inclusive solutions that people can have access to, that people can actually afford and participate in. So companies in the private sector play a big role in that. But I think the important thing to really look at is that people are doing their very best. Governments, companies, citizens are doing their very best to make the best choices that they can, whatever it may be, throughout the whole process. And if we can try to do that, change won't happen overnight, but there will always be hope and there will be growth. And also looking once again at the urgency of the matter, at everyone looking at it not just as something that can have a 50 or 100-year plan. It is actually less than 10 years if we really look at what scientists are not just predicting, but science has proven, and it's already showing itself right now with what's happening across the world, not just in the Philippines. So also the urgency of the matter as well.